What is going on, everybody? John Blade 101 here again, and I am back with another video, and today we have a review on our hands. Batman v Superman, the big DC's universe new movie that's came out. It's getting a lot of words said about it. Some of them pretty good, some of them very bad. I'm here to give you my thoughts on it. I decided to wait a little while to make sure if I talk about spoilers, everyone's probably already seen the movie by now. It's like a fan who's going to come up and watch my video, so I can talk freely now. So let's get started. Welcome to my review of Batman v Superman. Alright then, so this movie, in my opinion, is very lackluster. And some of you DC fans, you might want to like just click off my video, but I'm gonna explain to you why I think that. I'm gonna try to be open-minded. I'm gonna let you guys know that I like DC. I like DC a lot. I really enjoy the characters of Batman and Superman, depending on how you write him. But in these versions of these characters that Zack Snyder and David Goyer have written and created in their vision form aren't exactly Batman and Superman, if you understand what I'm talking about. It's a very dark, depressing thing that just it never really gets past it. It's just so dark and it's always lifeless, and everybody's just so brooding and boring and not really that interesting to really watch. Superman is not given a lot to do in this movie. He has I really don't know what the Superman's character is still. After all this time, I don't really know anything about him. I don't know what he likes, his dislikes. The only thing I know is that he likes Lois and he'll save her like on a dime. He'll stop whatever he's doing to save Lois, which kind of makes you feel like in Man of Steel, why couldn't a Superman could have done anything to try to save any other civilians or stopped in his way to try to save someone else that was getting killed if he's willing to stop and save Lois on a dime and not, and not worry about the fight. Like, yeah, Doomsday is in this movie. Yeah, Doomsday is in this movie. Spoilers. But I'm just getting ahead of myself. I'm just trying to put my thoughts in a cohesive review. So the movie starts off with a pretty weird scene, to be honest. At least near the end of it, when it shows Batman's origin with his parents being shot. Seen it 100 times before, don't really need to really be seen again. But the thing of interest here is actually when Spruce is running through the forest, I guess, remembering his parents' death, probably afraid he's the child, he falls into some kind of cave, and then kind of similar to that scene in Batman Begins, and then bats come out of there and they're flying around him, and then he starts flying. Bruce just starts flying for some reason, and he gets lifted out of the cave, I assume. But I guess that then the next scene just says, "Oh, that was just a dream." Oh no, it wasn't, Zack Snyder. You wanted that to be real. It's just that you copped out at the last second because you thought that, have everyone have the response we have that. Because even if it is a dream, it's a stupid scene and it doesn't make any sense. Me and my brother watching it, we looked at each other like, "What in the world is this? What is going on here? What's the point of this scene?" But anyways, it gets to what Batman was doing in Metropolis when he's running around the city trying to save people, or trying to figure out what's going on, to his Wayne building, his Wayne financial building, and one of his friends, I don't remember his name, but he's trapped in the building, and Superman and Zod are fighting. And it's that scene in Man of Steel where Zod has his he just learns his ability to uses heat vision, so he's going crazy inside of there, and he's destroying the building. The building tumbles over, falls on this one guy. His legs are broken. Like, I think at least said half a dozen or people died in that one building. And Batman saves the guy with his legs broken, and he's a major character later on in the story because he gets his legs amputated, and he does not like Superman because of this incident. So it does skip over to the scene in the I assume like in the Middle East or somewhere in like a desert type area, and these terrorists have Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. I know some people didn't know that was actually Jimmy Olsen, but Scott Snyder himself showed and proved that this actually was Jimmy Olsen. This is his vision for Jimmy Olsen. And so they get asked questions from the lead terrorist dude or whatever, and the guys opens up Jimmy's camera. He finds like a little CIA like tracker thing, and then they execute Jimmy Olsen. They shoot him in the head execution style. Yep, that's the end of Jimmy Olsen. Superman's best friend, pal, major character in the comics. Gone in an instant. Blam. Dead. Okay, whatever. And so, anyways, they take Lois, and Superman shows up, and and of course, they have to leave with this scene. I don't know why Zack Snyder chose this, trying to address all the criticism that happened in Man of Steel. So, anyways, this guy has Lois Lane at gunpoint. Superman nods at Lois. She lets go of his arm, and Superman just BAM! Slams him through multiple walls, killing him, definitely. Okay, idiots. Superman is Superman. He could probably figure out like 10 different ways he could have taken that gun out of that guy's hand, especially when he has super speed and all kinds of other powers, or heat vision, make him drop the gun or whatever. But of course, you open, the first thing we have with Superman is him killing a guy. Pretty much saying, screw you to all the fans that had criticism of Man of Steel for him killing Zod. Whatever, he's dead. Okay, and it skips over to Senator, and she's talking about how Superman doesn't answer to anybody, and he has all these, he doesn't answer to anybody. He does whatever he wants to save people. Of course, we know he's saving people. That's not the point. The point is that he's not willing to issue any statements or anything like that, showing his intentions, and he can destroy the entire planet, and he's never really, he doesn't have any like responsibility, or takes no responsibility. It's back to when Lois was asking him about the Senate. He said, I don't care what other people think. I don't care about this and that and the third. But then he has the gall to go on later in the story when Batman shows up, and Batman does what he does, except he brands a guy, and Batman shows him. Superman's like, he doesn't answer to any kind of authority. What are you, Superman? Who are you to say that when you just went through a scene saying, oh, I don't care? Okay, I guess. Okay, fine, Superman. I mean, be a hypocrite like that. I don't. You criticize Batman for the same thing you do, and that makes absolutely no sense. And that's one of the things in this story. The conflict between Batman and Superman ultimately doesn't make any sense. I mean, Batman has sort of a reason to hate Superman, okay? I'm not going to say Batman's reasons are completely ridiculous, but he has a foundation, okay? There's one thing not to like Superman, but wanting to kill him, which is Batman's thing in this movie. He wants to kill Superman. Later on in this film, he wants to kill Superman. And Lex Luthor, or I'm not gonna even call him Lex Luthor because it's not Lex Luthor. This is just some Joker clone with who has a bunch of money and who's just talking like he says. He plans this whole thing. He plans to get Batman and Superman together. He knows who Batman and Superman are. He knows that Superman's Clark Kent. He knows Batman is Bruce Wayne. And so he uses the entire film. He does things to nudge them together. So he wants them to fight. Why he wants them to fight, I don't really know. He's crazy, I guess, or I don't know. He doesn't like Superman because he's kind of like God or whatever. I don't really know his complete motivation here. But that's his motivation. He doesn't like Superman. He doesn't like Batman, so he just wants them to fight to the death. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Lex Luthor, let's talk about Lex, or just Alex Luthor, throughout this entire movie. He's just so annoying. And I only found a couple scenes of him somewhat entertaining. I was cringing the entire time he was talking in his little ballroom session, when he was talking to these people, his ballroom speech. He was like, the thing is, it connects to, thanks for coming. And then he drops the mic and he leaves. Like, okay. that's the Lex we want. This is like really bratty, really annoying Lex. I don't really like him. He's annoying. I can't say he's annoying enough. He has these mannerisms when he talks. He has like these weird, he's, twitching his hands. He's all twitchy and he's moving his hand around. And he's like all this geeky stuff like that. And it's not really that entertaining when you're trying to see this is the Lex Luthor we're going to get from the majority of the DCU. This is Lex Luthor, and it's really disappointing to see that they would go so far off the source material and make this really annoying Lex that no one really asked for or even wanted. I understand that you have to make this to the times. I'm doing quotes with my hands, in the times, but this Lex Luthor is going to be dated really fast in later years. He's going to be completely dated. He's going to come across even more annoying to some other people watching this movie some 2-3 years later. He's just going to be this annoying, outdated character that only people of today may understand. It's just disappointing, ultimately. Now, Wonder Woman does in fact have a role in this movie, as it may be rather small into the very the third act, but she does have a role. She does play around with Bruce Wayne a little bit. They have like this, they kind of play with each other back and forth about this data that Bruce Wayne wanted from Lex. She takes it, borrows it, gives it back to him, and then he emails her no information. And the Justice League cameos in this movie are the worst thing I've ever seen. You want to talk about how Marvel shoehorns in extra, lots of further movies. This movie does it in the worst way you can possibly imagine, where Wonder Woman gets an email from Batman, clicks around, and clicks around and sees like all these videos from the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. And at first I thought it was just gonna be like this little, like you would show their symbols on there, but not quite just like flat out just show them on screen. But no, they do it. She goes through slowly, clicks on every video, and we see all the stuff they do. Flash straight up. I think he killed. Did he kill a guy? I mean, he looked like he was there. He punched the dude, and like there's a bunch of lightning everywhere. And the guy slams up against something, and there's lightning everywhere. Aquaman's cameo was by far the worst because he just straight up stares at the camera or Lex's camera when they're filming him. He just stares at the camera. Like, should I move? No, yeah. Should I move? Okay, and then he stops the camera. Like that whole aggression came out of complete nowhere. It's just, and the cyborg scene was interesting, I'd say at least. It's interesting, okay? I probably like Cyborg scene the most, even though that's a really relatively bad scene. It just didn't really seem like it was necessary, and it factors into nothing into the plot of this movie. And so, like, they just shoehorn in the Justice League and how we gotta find them or whatever. And so, Lex, like, again, I'm cutting back to, oh, no, I'm sorry, not Lex, Alex. We cut back to him, where he gets Superman, into a senator meeting with this senator lady who doesn't like Superman, or doesn't say that she doesn't like what he does. She just doesn't like how he doesn't answer to anybody or any kind of authority whatsoever. And so Lex wants kryptonite from her because she can get the clearance. She blocks it, so Lex Luthor pays her back. And this really weird, kind of interesting scene where he has like, she told him like, you can have a jar of piss and call it like Granny's apple peach tea or something like that. And so he puts it on her table in the senator meeting, and then the guy that I told you earlier about that had his legs amputated, he explodes, his chair explodes, and then the whole area, everyone's dead there. Everyone's dead, and Superman gets blamed for it, and that's what makes Batman go over the edge and say, screw this, I'm fighting Superman, I'm killing him. He breaks into Lex's facility, takes the kryptonite or whatever, and leaves. And I really want to talk about this Batman here for a second. This Batman, played by Ben Affleck, I like the way he looks in the costume. I like his personality, his attitude, but it seems like Zack Snyder took all that and then he changed it completely. Took it from the source material. He makes Batman, I think he gets drunk a couple times in this movie. He's like sleeping with some woman that I don't even know, and he's just. And the biggest problem I have with this Batman is that he kills numerous people in this movie. Batman kills people. And one thing about Batman's character he will not do is kill people. And Zack Snyder completely makes him cross the line. Screw it. This Batman has no lines. He'll do whatever necessary, I guess. And he'll just kill a bunch of people. He's killed, I think, at least over 16 deaths I can attribute to Batman alone. And from his direct input, like he actually kills these people for no reason at all. I mean, well, not for no reason, but he kills them. And he could have done it a bunch of different ways. I mean, he shoots people with guns, which if Zack Snyder really wanted The Dark Knight Returns to be his source material, there's actually a page in the panel, even in the movie, he says, these are loud and clumsy. And he breaks a gun in half, showing that we will not use these. But yet, Zack Snyder has them using guns for some reason. I don't know, but he does. It's ridiculous, and it just shows that they just spit in the face of the source material. It says, oh, you want a Batman that's comic book accurate? Well, no, you're not going to get a Batman that's comic book accurate. We're going to have him kill people and all this kind of stuff like that. And I have something to say to you, Zack Snyder, about the way you defend your choices in this movie. When you said that Batman and Superman, they kill people, but you compare it to Star Wars and how Star Wars, they use the Star Killer thing. They blow up 5 planets, killing billions of people. But yet, don't you realize the bad guys are doing that, Zack Snyder? Not the good guys? Are you justifying a Superman blows up 4 or 5 planets and fighting a dude that is justified because of Star Wars? But the Star Wars are the bad guys. Don't you get that? Anyways, we get to the Batman v Superman fight. I know I skipped over some other stuff. I want to leave some kind of ambiguity in there for you guys that still haven't seen it yet. But it gets to the Batman Superman scene, which is arguably the best scene in this entire movie, but also it's under really stupid circumstances when Lex steals Superman's mom, and Superman has to go fight Batman to the death. Superman is being blackmailed to kill somebody, which Superman's been blackmailed before, but not to straight up murder Batman. But I guess whatever, he does it anyway. So. He goes over to fight Superman, and the scene is pretty reminiscent of The Dark Knight Returns, I will say. It has a pretty cool scene when Batman uses Sonic, the guns, well, not really much the guns, but he fights Superman. Batman has the kryptonite, and it works on him temporarily. Batman's battle suit, by the way, in this movie, is that it's it doesn't hurt Superman without the kryptonite. Superman, he punches it and he doesn't even move. Superman's body doesn't even flinch. He just straight up just gets rid. I mean, he just tanks every blow after the kryptonite runs out. And kryptonite runs out pretty fast in this movie, even though he breathes it in. So wouldn't that still stay in his lungs for a pretty long time, actually? But anyway, so Superman and Batman fight. Batman actually wins, and he's getting ready to kill Superman with this kryptonite spear that he got from from Lex's facility. He's getting ready to kill Superman. Lois Lane comes there just in time, saves Superman from the spear. Batman doesn't kill Superman for the fact that Superman said we have to save Martha for some reason. Instead of saying Lex is about to kill my mom, he said we have to save Martha. Why does he say Martha at all? Why would he say that? I mean, he wouldn't have just said please save my mom. You can kill me, but please save my mom or something like that. But why do you have to say we have to save Martha? Why would you refer to your mom as her real name? Usually you would say my mother, my mom, whatever. But anyways, they have to have a reason for Batman to not want to kill Superman anymore. So they're buddies after this, and Batman promises Superman that he won't kill his mom will not die. And so Lois takes the spear and throws it in the water. She could have just given it to Superman at one point or whatever, or not. Or had Superman, somebody have something to do with it, so they didn't just throw it away, because that's actually a pretty useful piece of equipment that could be used for future use. But instead, Batman breaks into Lex's facility where they're holding his mother. He beats up people, stabs a guy, which I can't really say he kills this guy or not, but he shoots people. He stabs this one guy, like he grabs a guy, throws him against the wall, and stabs a knife directly into his heart or his shoulder area, somewhere near his heart at least. I don't know if he killed him or not, but it looked like he killed him to me. And he saves his mom. But from a scene that's actually used reminiscent of The Dark Knight Returns, where he holds like a machine gun thing at the guy, and he has a flamethrower. I was like, I'll kill her. I mean it. He says, I believe you. And he shoots the guy's jetpack. I mean, not the jetpack, but the flamethrower, and it blows up. And Batman defends his mom. So he killed another guy right there. And okay, I mean, it's just really strange and really disappointing to see just Batman just so easily just willing to kill people in this movie. It's not something I enjoy watching. It's something I don't think I'll ever enjoy watching is Batman killing people. But anyways, we get to the final battle with Lex, with Superman coming there to take down Lex. And earlier in the movie, Lex actually does get Zod's corpse, and he uses the Kryptonian ship that somehow lets him just run it all of a sudden, even after he uses Lex's fingerprints to get into the door, to get inside, but then the computer just says, Lex Luthor, do you want to take control, and all this stuff like that. And it's like, okay, wouldn't there have to be clearance from the person that's inside, like Lex? Or not Lex, but Zod. But no, and then he creates Doomsday by cutting his hand and letting the blood drip on Zod, and then he uses the Kryptonian ship to incubate it or something like that. And then Doomsday comes out, and then they have this big fight scene with Doomsday where Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman has actually probably the best scene in this entire movie. I thought the fight was going to be the best scene, but Wonder Woman's entrance into the scene was pretty cool, okay? She uses her, like, bracelets when Doomsday is about to kill Batman, and she's all standing all strong and stuff like that. It was cool. I really liked that. I really enjoyed that scene. And so they have a fight scene, and Wonder Woman's actually doing pretty well. She's actually not even really getting that hurt too much. I mean, she's getting hit, but she's, like, smiling and all this stuff like that, and they're fighting Doomsday. And Doomsday has a pretty interesting ability now to where when he gets hit, he absorbs the kinetic energy and he creates this big plasma, like explosive wave type attack where it knocks everyone away and destroys a bunch of stuff. And good thing the people behind this movie made sure that there was no civilian casualties. So one of the most clunky dialogue I've ever seen, where thanks to the Manhattan area everyone's off of work right now. This area is completely uninhabited. I think they say it about 3 times in this movie that this area is uninhabited. Thank God this area is uninhabited, so we can have this giant fight scene. I mean, really, Zack Snyder, I know you want to address the criticisms, but you did it in some of the. It just seemed like it was shoehorned in. So, anyways, they fight Doomsday, and Wonder Woman. And so Superman Lois tries to get the kryptonite spear that she threw in the water and back at the place where Batman and Superman were fighting. She jumps in there, and then tries to get the spear out, but she's about to drown. So Superman stops what he's doing in this fight, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Stops completely what he's doing to go get her, and then he saves her, and then he has to use the kryptonite spear to kill Doomsday, which again, why would he have to do that when Wonder Woman seemed like she was perfectly capable of doing the same thing? But I guess they had to have a reason for what's going to come next. So Superman runs over with the kryptonite spear, stabs Doomsday in the chest with it, but Doomsday has like one of his spines or spike things that Wonder Woman, she cut off his hand and his hand grew back as some kind of spike thingy. And so he stabbed Superman with it while the kryptonite's in them. So I guess the kryptonite weakened Superman enough for Doomsday to stab him. And then they had this huge explosion. Superman is stabbed to the chest. He dies. Superman dies this early on in the DCU. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the worst moment in this entire film for me. They kill Superman off this early. When we as the audience, and especially me, I had no emotional attachment to Superman whatsoever. This version of Superman, I didn't care about him. I didn't care about his motivations, except saving people. Do that. But I didn't care about the Superman. I didn't feel any emotional investment. So this death felt like, I felt more for Quicksilver's death in Age of Ultron. And some of you, I may get crap for that, but I felt more for Quicksilver's death in Age of Ultron because I actually kind of he had a character, and he was already established in that one movie better than Superman has in 2 movies. Because we don't really know Superman's personality, like I said before, other than he just saves people. That's it. No complexity or anything like that. In fact, I think he was getting ready to stop saving people. This is my plan. He feels like it's just a mess. It's just Superman's character. So anyway, Superman dies, and then Batman realized he was completely wrong. He wasn't his enemy. This and that and third. Then we have this funeral scene with Scottish people at the Clark Kent's funeral. I guess the Kents are Scottish now, apparently. So anyways, they bury Superman. Lois is pretty broken up because Superman was actually going to propose to her, which I thought was pretty. That was the only thing I felt for, because I actually this Lois Lane actually has a character. And so she's throwing dirt on there, and then she just leaves. And the final shot in the movie is Superman. The dirt starts floating off, indicating that Superman is still alive. Boom. So all that emotional stuff you felt before, meaningless. He's back. He's gonna be back next movie. Screw it. Like, really, you couldn't have at least not alluded to he was going to be alive, but instead you had to do it. You had to ruin that moment. Now I don't care anymore. I don't care about his death. His death was completely meaningless. It had no weight whatsoever. And Batman also has a scene. It's right before this, but Batman also has a scene with Lex Luthor, and how Lex Luthor says the bell is rung and he's coming, which I think he's alluding to Doomsday, because there's nightmare sequences in this movie where Batman has these nightmares about him in the future, and there's a big Omega sign burned into the ground, indicating that Darkseid, I messed up there. Darkseid is going to be in the Justice League movie, and Superman's going to be his puppet because Superman is apparently evil here, and all this kind of weird stuff like this. So, now if you've blown the death of Superman out and made it have no weight whatsoever, now you're going to build the Darkseid, and Darkseid is going to maybe have Superman as his pawn, I guess. And it's going to have this really, it's just going to be, I don't know, Justice League looks like it's going to be a mess to me. Everything just seems so rushed and for no reason. There's a reason, because they want to compete with Marvel. That's the only reason why everything is completely rushed in this movie. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see how they write it, because I'm willing to maybe let some of my gripes with the movie go for Justice League if they do a good job and they write it well. But if they continue to do what they're doing here, where they continue to rush this entire thing, it's not going to really do anything for me. Justice League is just going to be as bad as a movie as this one. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Batman v Superman. Ultimately, this movie, the best I can give it is a 5 out of 10. That's the best I can possibly give this movie. A 5 out of 10. That's the highest I can give it, given that there's so many things messed up with the movie. It's just dark and bleak and joyless. I only laughed about maybe 3 times during the entire movie, because this movie feels like there's no fun in it. There's no fun in this movie. I mean, I enjoyed the movie somewhat, but ultimately it's still just there to me. I mean, maybe you guys have different thoughts. If you listen to this entire ramble video, then post your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Tell me what you think about this movie and whether you think it was a disappointment or you think it was the best superhero movie ever. Alright then, let me get out of here, guys. This is John Blade 101, everybody, and I bid y'all good day. Have a good one.